One of our guests won a chariot race while being completely nude. Stay tuned to find out who.
He's a Florida witch with something to say. Your friendly old sage with a teddy bear face. The Alexian Show. The magic's on its way. He's all set to play, so let's not delay. Welcome to Alexian Show.
Merry meet everyone. I'm Alexian, and joining me today, of course, is my co-host Draken. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing much better. Thank you so much. I was contemplating whether I should even bring this up, but I'm going to say it. I have been very sick since right after the last show. Like two days after the last show, I came down with a horrible stomach virus. I was puking my guts out, and the other end as well. We won't go into the details, but I'm just now today starting to feel like I'm close to 100%.
Good.
In time for the show, miraculously, right? Nature knew the show must go on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fourth show.
I
But
know.
I have some analytics I'm very excited to share, and even Draken doesn't even know this yet. As of Friday, catch this, as of Friday, we have gained 782 new subscribers just since the last show.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Since the last show. That brings the total subscribers as of Friday, I'm sure it's a little higher by now, up to 3,405 subscribers to the YouTube show.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. The
Absolutely.
first episode had 697 views since it was published, and it's still being watched in replay. The second episode has had 1,164 views since being published 2 months ago. And the third episode, which was only published last month, are you ready for this? 3,266 views since it was just published last month.
That's amazing.
So we are growing. We are growing rapidly. I think people like you, Draken.
I think it might be you, but
You're
because
so
I'm
gorgeous.
crabby.
How
I
can
don't
they
know.
not love you?
I'm a crabby old lady. I keep telling people.
No, you're not. I know you.
Don't tell anyone.
Sorry, you want that dragon
Energy. Yeah.
Well, we are so thankful for everyone. For watching. We're thankful for our guests and our sponsors. But yes, without the viewers, this wouldn't even exist. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing it with your friends and spreading the word. It's hard to get the word out, but when you subscribe, and especially when you like the video button below, that triggers the algorithm and things take off, automatically, and it's just a click, right?
Yeah.
Another idea of a way you can help is you can listen. If you haven't heard the other 3 episodes, you can listen to them in the car while you're driving. And I actually like to listen to them in the shower with my Bluetooth speaker. I watch a lot of YouTube shows, usually on cryptocurrencies in the shower. How do you guys listen?
Over you?
Huh?
Just let it wash over you.
Just let it wash over me.
Yeah.
Just washing the bits and thinking the bits coins. Yes. Oh my goodness. So in the comments, viewers, let us know where you're tuning in from, because we like to know where everybody's from and share that information online. We'll put your comments right up on the screen. Anything new with you, Draken?
Yeah, actually, spent the day at the lake yesterday. My best friend forever has a lake house up there and a boat. And so I got to just hang out on a boat yesterday, which is amazing. But in 10 days, I'm going to the East Coast because my 3rd grandbaby is coming. And I'm just like, I'm so excited. First girl, grandbaby.
Do they know a name yet?
There is a litany of names
Ah,
going on. Since they have 2 boys that are 7 and 9, they have come up with many possible names. One of which is Zelda from the video game.
of course.
It's kind of stuck. That may stick. So we'll see.
So everybody's commenting where they're from. I saw Alabama fly by. We're Boston.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Deborah. She was a guest last month on the show.
Yep. And then let's see, I'm going to go back up again. Oh, wait, they're coming too fast for me. We got
Russell. Hey, Russell in Texas.
We got Sandra from Alabama, always here for us. I love it. And then we had Deborah from Boston, of course. And then Janet from Ohio. And then we've got Natasha from Maryland, which is where I'm headed, by the way. You know, you can have lunch, whatever. No, I'm kidding. And then we've got Becca from Southern Missouri, which is where I am actually from.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
But you knew that.
Well, they don't know where I'm from.
They don't.
You know where I'm from. Because we went to high school together.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I just want to thank everybody and remind them that this is an interactive show and there will be a question and opportunity moment after every guest. So guest talks, does their sharing, and then we'll have questions and answers, Q&As for you guys to pose your questions to our guests.
Yeah.
And again, Draken's covering the comments in YouTube. You got to comment on YouTube and don't be shy. Speak up and ask your questions by typing them in to the comments. I've even heard from people going, I wanted to ask a question, but I was too shy. I'm like, really? Enter. It's simple. All right. We got a great show for you guys. Today is pagan recording artist Aerik Arkadian and storyteller Kalisha Kfp is also with us. But before we jump into the show, I don't want to forget this.
Yeah.
I just want to take a second and congratulate again Paola. I want to say the name right. Paola, who won our May Arcane Treasures giveaway. She is so pretty too. Look at that. She's holding up all of her goodies that she received from the giveaway last show. And today you could be the winner of the bundle of goodies from our current guests and sponsors. So don't miss out. It happens at the end of the show. So you got to be watching live. And it's as simple as commenting the secret hashtag word, which I won't tell you until right before it's time to roll for the win. All right. So don't miss out on that. And as always, if you know someone or you yourself would like to be a guest on the Alexian Show, it's really easy. All you have to do is go to alexianmusic.com/guest. That's alexianmusic.com/guest. And I'm hitting the button. There we go.
Yep. Sorry, I missed that. I'm typing.
Yeah, that's okay. Together we'll make it happen. It's live, guys. All right.
Yeah.
So how's the chat going?
It's honestly, it's going crazy. I'm trying to keep up. You know what I mean?
It's awesome.
Yeah. So we've got, I'm going to say Faol, and I'm sorry if that is wrong, from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, Charlotte, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move it along. Don't forget to smash those like buttons, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on our monthly show. And while you're at it, be a helper. Tell your friends and family and like-minded friends about the show. But let's go ahead and jump in with our first guest. Here we go.
It's time for Enchanted Verse.
Up, do up, bibbidi do up.
Today, I'm thrilled to have a very special guest, Aerik Arkadian. Aerik is not only a talented musician, but also a high priest deeply immersed in the intersection of music, spirituality, and the occult. His unique perspective has captivated many through his ongoing show, The Music, Myth, and Magic on YouTube, where he delves into fascinating topics like ancient instruments, mystical traditions, and personal anecdotes from his own experience. Please join me in welcoming Aerik Arkadian.
Hi.
Hey, man.
That was
How
a
you doing?
beautiful intro, Alexian. I think I'm going to hire you to write the openings for everything I do now.
Well, truth be told, I write it up and then I zhuzh it up with artificial intelligence. So I can't take all the credit. But yeah, it's very eloquent the way it makes it zhuzhy, right?
I like it.
So before we jump into your music, tell us about your YouTube show, Music, Myth, and Magic.
Yeah. So typically every month I pull somebody interesting onto my show, either an author or someone well-known in the pagan community. And I ask them a bunch of questions for about an hour and they give me some answers and we usually talk about some cool stuff. But the signature question that I always ask everyone is, how do you use sound or music in your personal magical practice? Because that's something that's really important to me, is utilizing sound in our magic. So that's the show.
Man after my heart. You just ask any of my coveners. We're constantly singing and drumming and vibrating. And yeah, it's all about sound for me too. Absolutely. We have to like hang, you know?
I know, man. I know.
Yeah.
I agree.
So when and how did you get into music?
You know, my earliest memory was my mom teaching me how to sing and harmonize. So it's been something that's ongoing all of my life.
I remember my mother singing Que Sera Sera to me when I was just a tiny baby, but I remember that very much so. I also, you know, I studied music education, and I think it's very important for parents to sing to young children because it does activate that part of the brain early on, which also bleeds over into mathematics and science and all of those things. As you know, I'm sure music stimulates in many different ways.
100% agree with you.
So after you got into music, I mean, like, when did you start to officially study music?
Good question. I have been taking lessons of various instruments since like 5th grade. I started piano. In high school, I started learning guitar and cello. I tried to play a couple random instruments like flute and saxophone. Those didn't really stick with me though. And I've been sort of performing ever since I was in my early adulthood, just here and there, wherever I can. But probably last year sometime, I really got frustrated by the fact that I hadn't been recording much. And when I would go out and play shows, people would say, "Where can I find your music?" And I would always be like, I don't know. I'll come up with something later. I'll record something later. So last year I kind of sat down and actually recorded an album, and now that's up streaming on Spotify, YouTube, or if you want to download it, you can subscribe to my Patreon, or if you're really lucky at the end of the show and you type the right keyword, you'll get a copy of it.
Wow. We're going to talk about all those things in depth, actually, but there's a little preview, right? So what started you specifically exploring pagan music?
That's an interesting question too. I think back to when I started as an outer court student with the coven that I was trained in. My high priestess, very early on, she found out that I played and that I sang, and she would be like, "Play our songs, write our music." And I was like, no, I want to, I want to play the stuff I want to play. But as I kind of grew in the craft, I found that a lot of those concepts started coming out in the music that I wrote more and more. And now because I guess back several years ago, I considered my music to be a separate thing from my spirituality. And there were these two different sides of my life. There are things I was very interested in, but there was a line, and one was on one side and one was on the other side. And as I've grown spiritually, I'd like to think I've grown spiritually, they've become one. So there's no division anymore. And as that has happened, then these themes come out more in my music.
I love that answer. I love it. So that was the moment, that was the moment when you became whole, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I had something similar happen to me, but we won't go into that. So you just finished a new album. Let's talk about that.
Okay. So that album is called Unplugged. As I had said earlier, I was getting frustrated by not having any music for people to listen to unless I was playing live. So I sat down and I recorded a song, like one song per week. It's just me and my guitar, not a lot of production going into it because I'll get lost in audio production and one song will take me an entire year. So I set a limit and I said, I'll get it to the point where it sounds good and I'm done, moving on, next song. So I don't know, there's a bunch of songs on there. It's a mix of, there's some pagan chants, like that everybody knows and can sing along to. And I kind of made my own rocky version of them. There's original songs that I wrote. Some are pagan themed. Some are just songs, regular songs, and there's also a few covers on there of some artists and songs that I greatly enjoy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it represents you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I almost laughed out loud when you said, because I can get caught up in, production. It's so true, man. It's musicians, when they write a song and they record it, it's like giving birth. And you don't want to let your baby go because it's not perfect yet, right? And you just keep dressing it up and dressing it up and dressing it up. And before you know it, it's got 14 sweaters on and 3 pairs of shoes and it looks horrid, right? So overproduced is a thing. So I completely understand what you're talking about. I have to also say this on the show, like I don't know your music. And when we first had our preliminary meeting, I checked out your music and I was just like, whoa, this guy's got a great voice, because you really do. You're very talented. And that's why I was excited, to have you on the show, because you're good. You're really good. So if you haven't heard Aerik's music, you got to go check it out. So let's dive a little deeper into the music. Of course, you're here for the Enchanted Verse segment. So I'm going to have you read to us one of your song's lyrics.
Okay.
Which one have you chosen?
So I've got a song here called E.O. Pan. And it is both a song as a tribute to Pan and an invocation to Pan.
Excellent. Take it away.
Okay. Entering the wild of the forest, I've come to find the master of the hunt. Come, horned one, come forth, the king of Arkady. Teach me of your mysteries, reveal to me your history. E.O. Pan, E.O. Pan, E.O., E.O., E.O. Pan. Are you beast or are you man? Although you've driven many men to madness, I come to you with tribute of a song. I heard a voice that said the great god Pan is dead, but I know the truth. Now I proclaim the great god Pan lives on. E.O. Pan, E.O. Pan, E.O., E.O., E.O. Pan. Are you beast or are you man? Through the veil to worlds between, and in the thick of forest green, there sits the door to Arkady, a door without a key. I come to seek the great god Pan. Eopan, 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 Eopan. Who is this great horned one? Is he all or is he none? I see a beast, nay, I see man. I behold the mighty Pan. Eopan, Eopan, Eopan. Come, O great God, come again. Play me your sweet serenade as we steal away to empty glade. The shepherds watch and stand in awe as we bow before the great God. Eopan, Eopan, shepherd king, half goat and half man. Suddenly, a fearsome roar. Atop my head, I feel his horns. A mighty voice then spoke to me, and this is what it said. I am Pan. Eo, 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 Pan. Eo, Pan. Eo, Pan. Eo, 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 Pan. Are you beast or are you man?
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Draken, I think we lost our overlay. If you would replace it, please. Wow. I have to mention that Pan is one of my gods as well. So that really struck home with me. I could never decide on, is it Thoth or is it Pan? So they fought over me, and I have both.
They're both awesome. Yeah.
Yes, they are both awesome. I have that geeky intellectual side that's very, detail oriented. And then I have that rutting Pan satyr man as well in me. And they work well together. They understand each other. I love that. That's going to be on my regular playlist henceforth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you dig it. Yeah.
I'm digging it big time. I love it. All right. Well, don't leave us hanging. Let's share another one.
Okay. All right. So I have two possibilities here.
Okay.
So you can choose. Would you rather hear a song called Echoes, or would you rather hear a song called Rise?
Why don't we have the viewers vote?
Okay.
So type 1 if you want, was it Echoes?
Mm-hmm. Echoes or Rise.
Or type 2 if you want to hear the lyrics to Rise. And I'll let Draken come back on and tell us the answer.
All right, I'll be looking. And I'm sorry, the overlay is not currently working properly, so hopefully we get that back on track.
Wow.
Yeah.
It disappeared.
Yeah.
I gotcha. One of them went bye-bye.
Okay.
We'll just leave it.
Overwhelmingly, number 2.
Number 2 it is.
Okay. Which one was number 2 again? I forgot.
The Rise.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Take it away.
I've got it here. Ancients awaiting, I stand at the gate, a door that leads far and beyond. Faces of demons and angels pass me by. The kings of the elements off in the distance, I struggle to step through the threshold. Ethereal voices of choirs sing to press on. Where will I go? How will I know? Will I comprehend all these answers at all? A phoenix reborn from the ashes, I have come, and I will rise. I will rise. I'm everywhere, nowhere, above and below. I'm everything, yes, but nothing, oh no. Dimensions converging like waves come crashing down. Energy spirals without from within and flows all around, then comes back again. Original source of creation here abounds. I've heard it been said, it's all in my head. Yes, I'll agree, there is much there to see. A prisoner unshackled from chains, now I am free, and I will rise. I will rise.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think I got your overlay back too. So what's this funny experience you had at a pagan festival where you were actually dressed as Pan and you were chasing your wife?
Okay. So a few years ago at Florida Pagan Gathering, some of our coven family volunteered to run the ritual. And they wanted to present like a traditional Gardnerian style ritual. So we all got together and we started putting the ritual together. And my wife, Celine, and I were asked to play the part of Pan and Celine for God and Goddess invocation. So we dressed up. She wore a pretty white dress, and I had really fuzzy pants on, and I was shirtless, and I had horns, and we danced around, and I chased her, and that was the interesting part of the ritual. And when I caught her, some kids in the audience screamed because apparently we were being a little racy. And then another kid said, "Don't worry, it's okay. They're married. I know them."
That's cute. That's cute. You also said that your coven had banned you from doing fertility rituals?
Yeah. We were trying to have a baby for a while, and we did lots of fertility rituals. And instead of us having a baby, suddenly all of the women in our coven were having babies, and they said, "Please stop."
Whoops. That's that connection.
Little misdirected energy.
Coven egregore cross wiring there. Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Wow. Magic is amazing. Sometimes it manifests in ways we don't expect, for sure. So if you enjoyed Aerik's lyrics, he has actually donated a digital copy of his Unplugged album with all the tracks, the liner notes, and the artwork. Plus, he has also gifted to the giveaway a bottle of his homemade musical condenser for today's Arcane Treasures giveaway. So, Aerik, tell us about your musical condenser. And for those that may not know, what is a condenser?
Okay, so a fluid condenser is a substance that is very good at conducting spiritual or etheric energy. Up here on the screen, that's a bunch I made after a concert that I played at a festival. So I actually made it on stage, and the idea was that fluid condensers are very receptive to types of energy. So all of the energy that was raised by me playing and was raised from the interaction from the audience every time people in the crowd clapped or cheered or danced, all of that positive energy was received by the fluid condenser. And then I have bottled it, and I actually just put some on before the show today, because it's like anytime I need a little splash of extra energy, I put some on. So it smells good. It's a bunch of essential oils and distilled water and some other stuff. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you charged it during your concert.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I've never done that. Now you've inspired me.
It was a lot of fun. You should try it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's a really cool idea. We're no stranger to charging all sorts of objects, within the coven, using the cone of power, etc. But I've never thought about actually doing it during a concert. That's really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. So, those that are watching live, I'm talking to you now. You could be the lucky winner of his album and the musical condenser at the end of the show during the Arcane Treasures giveaway. So stay tuned. So, Aerik, what are you working on now?
I'm writing a book right now.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
tell us about it.
So that is on fluid condensers, actually. I signed a contract with Crossed Crow a few weeks ago. So hopefully I'll have like the first draft submitted a little before December. And then we can expect to have, I don't know how long books take. Sometime after that, next year, we can expect hopefully to see it. But that's
congratulations.
That's kind of, thank you.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Always been a dream of mine to write a book. So fulfillment, you know.
Fulfillment. I love it. You're manifesting. Magician card.
And if I might also just say, my wife and I have a prison ministry where we go out and we volunteer Wiccan services to incarcerated individuals. We are going to be collecting books for donation at Summer Magic later this week, June 6th through the 9th. So if anybody has any old books lying around, they want to donate them, books, pagan-related books, no nudity, or they'll be rejected by the Department of Corrections. But pagan-related books, if you don't want to read them, I know somebody that will. The inmates are always super grateful. That's one of their biggest complaints, is that they never have access to any sort of resources to learn.
It's funny that you have to put that disclaimer in there, no nudity. But there are pagan books that have been around for decades that have some nudity pictures in them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. It's very true. So you also had mentioned during our preliminary meeting that you are working on another album.
Yeah. I've got so many songs that need recording. It's hard to stop writing songs, you know. There are so many that are rattling around in my head, and the noise doesn't quiet down until you actually, you know, sit down, focus, and work on them and get them out into a tangible form. So I've got a bunch more songs that I'm working on. I would say that I think the book is kind of taking up a little bit of precedence in terms of how I divvy up my time, but I want to, the next album, I want to have a little bit more produced, more instruments, more of a full band sound than just acoustic in my voice. But I definitely have a lot that I'm working on.
Very cool. But I have to say, there's nothing wrong with acoustic and just your voice too. You know, it's just works just as well. You know, so, okay. So where do people go if they're interested in getting their own copy of your Unplugged album and learning more about your other offerings?
Okay, if you want to get a copy of my album, it's exclusively an offering on my Patreon page. So you can go to patreon.com/Aerik Arkadian. You can subscribe to one of my tiers for a month and then download the album if you want. If you don't want to download it, you just want to stream it and listen to it, you can on Spotify or YouTube Music or any other sort of cool streaming platform that people are listening to these days. Or you could go check out some stuff on my website, aerikarkadian.com. Oh, look, there it is.
Hey, we try to be prepared.
I write a lot about magical topics. So if you would like to go check out some interesting articles, stuff that I write about, you can. And there's some links to my videos there too.
Yep. Very simple. It's his name, AerikArkadian.com. So go there, check him out, and support him as well. All right, let's get Draken back in here. What are the viewers saying?
Well, I mean, it looks like we've got some excitement about reading this book whenever it does come out. Like, I also am now excited about it. I've never heard of a musical condenser, so now I have to have some. Like, it seems like everyone that's watching, though, has been very interested and excited about all that you have to offer. So you might be seeing some traffic here.
Yay.
Quickly.
Yes, please support him.
Yeah.
Well, Aerik, thank you so much for being with us today, but you're not done. Like I told you before, we're going to bring you back on at the end of the show for some fun. So sit tight, okay?
All right.
All right. We'll see you
do.
soon. And to our viewers, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss our monthly show. All right. So let's move on to sponsors. The show wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. And we're actively looking for pagan-minded businesses and services that would be interested. So if this sounds like you, head over to alexianmusic.com/sponsor for more information, and you can have your logo right down there the next month, just like paganmusic.com. You may be familiar with the fact that paganmusic.com website belongs to Victor, my husband, and I. We supported Pagan Music Online since '93 when we formed Earth Tone Studios, and then we took Earth Tone Studios on the internet in 1997. I sound so old when I say these dates. I really do. Oh my goodness gracious. So paganmusic.com is now over 30 years old, and we are liquidating our stock. We've held on to some titles so long that they're out of print and they've become collector's items. And I actually just sent a bumper sticker, just one bumper sticker, all the way to Norway. All the way to Norway. The shipping was crazy expensive, but they really, really wanted that bumper sticker. And I have to say, the bumper sticker is, of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most.
Right there with you.
They really wanted that bumper sticker, so they paid extra to get it to Norway.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Our goal at paganmusic.com after liquidating the store is to turn it into an informational hub for pagan music so that we can continue supporting pagan recording artists. And today, paganmusic.com is happy to donate a $25 cart checkout coupon into the Arcane Treasures giveaway at the end of the show. We trust that whoever is the lucky winner will have some happy pagan shopping joy. And then, of course, there's myself, alexianmusic.com. I am sponsoring as well. Duh. There on at alexianmusic.com, you'll find all things Alexian, including my pagan recordings, online courses and trainings, and my private community, the Coven of Cool Cats. We do every Tuesday, we do a Bonfire Bardic Circle. Think of pagan music open mic. It's a lot of fun. We drum, we sing, we share stories. We also share magic spells and recipes and rituals with each other in our ever-growing community Book of Shadows. I do a tarot card of the day drawing every day and create a short video in the community. There's spontaneous walking together as we discuss spiritual topics. Everybody's like on their phone walking outside, and we're talking as we're talking about different subjects. We also have monthly pentacle parties where we review the month before and what our goals are for the following month. So that's kind of nice. It's like a goal setting session. I also teach music. I teach songwriting techniques and lyric writing discussions and all sorts of stuff. So there's just a lot that we do within the community. And today I'm thrilled to contribute a complimentary Rooted Kitten ongoing membership to the Coven of Cool Cats community in the giveaway at the end of the show. So both of these sponsors help pay for today's show. The equipment, the streaming software services, the staff, it all adds up. So please support like they have supported the show. And if you have a business, if you have a pagan related business or service, and you would like your business to become a sponsor, head over again to alexianmusic.com/sponsor. All the information is on that one webpage. We'd love to have you. All right, let's get back to the show. I got to hit the right buttons.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Welcome to Sacred Storytelling.
Kalisha Kfp is a known figure in the world of witchcraft. having devoted decades to mastering her craft. As the original owner and creator of Hecate's Cave, Kalisha built a shop for fellow witches, offering an array of mystical tools, supplies, and wisdom. Her rich experience and deep knowledge made her a natural mentor and guide. Though now she has sold and retired from her shop, Kalisha continues to inspire and educate through her personal journeys and extensive expertise. Everyone, please welcome Kalisha Kfp. Hey, darling, how you doing?
Doing wonderful.
So how did you first get into the craft?
In 1968, one of my friend's mother was a drama teacher at a college there in Dallas, Texas. And one of the props was a Rider-Waite tarot deck that I ended up with. So Rider-Waite became my first tarot deck. And it made me curious. So our weekly excursions to the Dallas Public Library, I started looking for books on witchcraft. And of course, back then you asked for a book on witchcraft and they were going to send you something like Magickal Summers or, inquisitional text about the Inquisition and the trials. So it's really hard to find anything. Then later in 1972, running around with some college kids from University of Texas, Arlington, I got turned on to Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung. And that kind of just made me thirsty.
Sure.
And they were what you would call an eclectic coven. They were very careful because of my age about what they shared with me, but that's where my path started. And by 1981, I was receiving my first third degree.
Nice. So you said they had to be careful because of your age. How old were you?
I was high school.
You were still in high school. You were a teenager.
Yes.
Gotcha. So were you goth back then?
Was that? We didn't even know what goth was back then. It's Star Trek. It was, fighting over who was going to be James T. Kirk's girlfriend of the week.
So true. That is so true. I remember watching Star Trek in the 70s as reruns. I think they were reruns by then. But yeah, you got into it a long time ago, way before I did. Yeah.
It was, finding books back then was very, very difficult.
I was saying almost.
You spend a lot of time in anthropology, archaeology, mythology, philosophy, and then slowly they started being released, starting with Stuart Farrah's What Witches Do.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big eye-opener. But yeah, we had all sorts of fun stuff. That it was a journey. Let's just put it that way. It was a journey.
Isn't everything? Yes.
Yeah. So we've gone from practically nothing except bad histories to an explosion today.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's some very good books out there, and there's some make me scratch my head a little.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So what is happening in this photo?
I was doing, this was at an Alexian Coven gathering in Arlington, Texas. This would have had to have been about 82, maybe 83. And I was doing a reading for one of the Coven members. And the Kodak disc camera was brand new on the market. And the elders of the Coven had bought a bunch of those cameras and decided to do some photographs. And this is an untouched photograph of me doing the reading with a sylph floating over my head. And the sylph was not visible. So when the photographs came back, we were all just going, whoa, wait a minute, what is that?
It's very cool.
So,
We have gotten kites and orbs in photographs ourselves here in the Coven. And there was a young child who was a child of one of the Coveners. And we were hanging out, getting ready for ritual. But he was a young boy, and he was hanging upside down on the couch. You know how kids are. They're all arms and legs. He was basically hanging off the side of the couch, almost upside down, almost touching the floor with his hands. And I thought he was being cute. He used to look like Harry Potter a little bit. And I took a picture of him. Well, when we got the film developed, there's in the picture, there's a clear orb that flies across. It's a streak, and it flies at an arc across the room, goes behind him, disappears. The streak disappears behind him, comes out the other side, and is exiting from the other side. And you see the bright orb on the other side of him. But the trail goes behind him and then back out the other side. It's pretty amazing.
I did a hand fasting for a couple there in Fort Worth, Texas. And they took pictures, obviously. And unfortunately, they got the pictures free because the place that developed the pictures thought something was wrong with them because there were so many wide streaks and spirals and orbs in the pictures that a lot of them just did not come through, unfortunately. But hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's right.
Yeah. But it was exciting to see those pictures because the energy that night was awesome.
So you were telling me about one of the most humorous and outlandish comments or questions that you had received because you were a witch. Do you remember what that was? Somebody asked you a question because you were a witch.
God. There's been water under the bridge since then. Give me a hint. Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
Starts with an O.
This silver.
You had said somebody had asked you, where's the orgy?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. It was somebody asked me, this was back in the late 70s, early 80s, and somebody asked me when they found out I was a witch, they asked me where the orgies were. And I just looked at them and I said, well, when you find it, let me know.
I know, right? I've been looking for them for 3 decades. I've not found one yet. So if you find out, let me know too. It's all BS. It's all that.
Oh, yeah,
propaganda,
it is. Propaganda.
People making things up that aren't real, Oh, goodness. So what also is this about you wrestling an elephant?
Oh. I had the honor and the privilege of being an honorary member of the William Holden Wildlife Foundation with Stephanie Powers of Heart to Heart fame and Marshall Thompson, who did a TV show in the 60s called Daktari, and Don Hunt of Hunt family fame. And the foundation opened the first baby elephant orphanage in Kenya, Africa. And I had the pleasure of being a part of that. And you have not lived until you have a very affectionate, very loving, very playful baby elephant decide to lean up against you, knock you over, and lay down on top of you and give you snout kisses with its trunk.
Aw, how cute.
Yeah.
I would have loved that. Oh,
It's
my
fun.
goodness.
And I get along better with animals than people sometimes.
Well, that's kind of pagan, I think, experience in itself. So what's going on in this photo?
Oh, Well, that was at a festival, and that is a jaguar. Her name was Cindy, and
I love it.
she was about 8, 9 months in that picture. And at that time, I was running a USDA relocation rehabilitation center for abused and confiscated large cats.
Wow.
And yeah, I did not own it. It was not a private facility. This was a government function. And so, yeah, they covered 90% of the expenses and made sure I had the kind of security that was needed to protect the animals. And it was pretty cool. A lot of fun.
So you got to get into your garb and have a photo shoot with Cindy.
Yes.
She's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Absolutely gorgeous. I'm a cat lover myself. My matron goddess is bossed. And in fact, at my first degree initiation, a jaguar came to me and jumped into me. The spirit of the jaguar came into me in my first degree initiation. That's a whole nother story. So you're, speaking of stories, you're here today about storytelling.
Yes.
So share with us for a couple of minutes before you tell a story about the history of the Bardic tradition.
Oh, goodness. Storytelling is as old as the human race. So, it was used, to celebrate and retell the exploits of a successful hunt, or to transfer information about these purple berries are poisonous, but these red berries are really good. So it was the Bardic tradition can pretty much be traced to Neanderthal, but we wouldn't call it Bard tradition going back that far. Every culture from Sumer, Samaria, Assyria, Babylon, Egypt, Greece, Rome, Nordic, they've all had their mythologies. They've all had their stories. And with those mythologies and stories, they had their storytellers. So if you wanted to think of a famous storyteller, and maybe you've never associated it to a Bardic tradition, Homer. And there were many Homers. There wasn't just one in ancient Greece. There were many Homers. The difference between a Bard tradition and storytelling is basically the Bard tradition is strictly oral. It's passed mouth to ear. And there are still a few traditions in the world that function that way. But right around the 10th century, 11th century, in feudal Europe, things started to change. And they went from being bards to gleemen. And they developed what were called glee colleges. And the glee colleges started writing down these stories. And so some of these stories, you move forward in history, you're going to have the original telling of Little Red Riding Hood. And which has been pretty dumbed down thanks to Mother Goose. But behind all of those Mother Goose stories, behind Grimm's fairy tales, there were stories that were told around the campfire, around the hearth. Mm-hmm. And the storytelling was a part of early education as well as entertainment. And it was a way of passing on and passing down tradition. And the Bardic tradition is very much alive with an organization out of England, Bards, Ovates, and Druids, which started back in the 60s, I believe, with Ross Nichols. He was the first archdruid. Then there was Dr. Thomas Mann, and now a name that many people are going to be familiar with, Philip Cragam. Mm-hmm. And it's Obed has done a great deal to keep oral storytelling alive, as well as some really cool pagans and witches out there.
I lay in bed every night on my iPad and I read articles to fall asleep. And just the other day, an article popped up about the Grimm fairy tales. And I found it fascinating when I was reading it that he actually, him and his, I think there was a partner, they did research and they traveled all over the world gathering not just a few stories. We're talking tens of thousands of stories. And they pieced them together and found the ones that were basically the same archetypical stories and interlaid them together to come up with the Grimm fairy tales that we know and love today. So I found that interesting. Yeah. So that's exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very cool. So awesome. So now enchant us with your chosen tale of the day.
Well, I found it interesting that Aerik chose Pan, because the irony is the story that I'm going to tell you today is the story of a goddess, very special goddess, a lake goddess.
Awesome.
In
Take
a
it away.
land far off. Her name was Zunessa. And around this lake, there lived a people. They were simple, but they were happy. They were plentiful in children. They had crops. Zunessa gave from her waters the brown trout that they could eat. She gave them her bones, the stones that surrounded her banks to fill their homes. She gave them her hair, the reeds, to thatch their roofs. And every spring, the children would go out into the fields and collect the wildflowers. And they would weave them into garlands. And they would take them down to the bank. And while they were singing songs of praise to their goddess Zunessa, they would throw the garlands out onto her waters, giving her thanks for all that she provided. Because without her and her gifts, these people could not survive the cold of winter because they would have no shelter. They could not feed themselves because they would not have the fish, because wildlife wasn't very plentiful. With her waters, they were able to water their crops. So they had grains and fruits and vegetables. And every year they celebrated the spring. And Zunessa just loved hearing her people sing the songs, and she loved watching them dance as she would gently ripple her water so that she could see them better. Then one day, on a hill overlooking the village, there appeared a stranger, and he was carrying a strange symbol. But he didn't scare the people. So the entire village runs up to the top of the hill to greet him, and they bring him down into their village because he's a stranger. He has no home. He's cold. He's hungry. So they build him a shelter. They feed him. They share all that they had. They shared their songs and their dances. And in return, the stranger shared his stories, and the people were mesmerized by what he was sharing with them. And so one day he went to the elders and he said, I need you to do something for me. And the elders said, what? Your wish, if it's within our powers, we will do it. And he says, on that hill where you first saw me, I want you to go up there and build me a building. And they said, well, we'll have to take it to Nessa first. And they took it to Nessa and they asked her if they had permission to take her bones and her hair to build the stranger this building. And as they watched, a gentle breeze blew across her waters, and the waters receded back to reveal stones and reeds. And they took this as a yes. So they harvested the reeds, they harvested the stones, they carried them on top of the hill, and they built the special building. And on this building, the stranger hung his strange sign and a bell. And he told the people, when you hear the bell ring, I want you to come and join me. So the people, when they would hear the bell ring, they would dutifully journey up the hill and take their positions and seats inside this building that they built for the stranger. And Unessa could hear them singing. And she loved hearing her children sing. It made her heart dance with joy. She saw her people were happy, so she was happy. And this went on day after day, month after month, several years. And the spring comes around, and the little girls are out picking the wildflowers to make the garlands, and the women are reading the baskets, and the fishermen are out with their nets catching the trout, and they're getting ready for their spring celebration, and everybody's singing and dancing and happy when the stranger appears. And he looks at them and he says, have I told you nothing? Have I shared nothing with you? Haven't I told you that there is no goddess in that lake? Haven't I told you that it is a demon? Oh, no, the people exclaim. This is the goddess Unessa. She's our mother. She takes care of us. She gives us everything that we need. She even gave us the bones and the reeds of her hair for your building that we go to when you ring your bell. You've learned nothing, the stranger said. And he took his staff and stepped into the waters and raised his staff out over the water. And he shouted in a dark, threatening voice, demon spawn of hell, be gone from this place. I condemn you and I curse you. And Unessa became afraid, very afraid. Her waters began to tremble. Waves began violently brushing the shores like never before. And Unessa cried out, reaching down deep into the earth, Earth Mother, help me. Help me. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And the Earth Mother simply said, my daughter, I cannot. So she looked upward to the skies, reaching out with her waves, and she said, Sky Father, help me. The Sky Father said, I cannot. And Unessa, feeling alone, betrayed, called out to her brother, the North Wind, and begged him to breathe his frost across her surface so that she could go to sleep, a deep sleep, a sleep from which she would never wake, until once again the garlands could be thrown in praise, the songs and the dances sung and performed in joy. But to this day, thousands of years later, people still go to that lake. They still are searching for the goddess Unessa. They go in search for the monster of Loch Ness.
Wow. Beautiful story.
Thank you.
Rooted in truth,
Yes.
as all stories are, right? All
Mhm.
mythologies are rooted in truth. Wow. That was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Wow. Okay, let's lighten the mood a little bit.
Yes. Hey, it's supposed to be a funny ending. Come on. Monster of Loch Ness.
Well, I believe in the monster of Loch Ness. I don't know what it is, but I believe it exists.
I think there's something there.
Yeah.
But that's actually a very old Scottish version of a newer but old myth from Middle Ages about the Loch Ness monster. It was a water dragon.
Wow.
And in the myth, the water dragon and a knight go to battle.
Wow.
And
Very
of course, today we're looking for Nessie.
And then today we're looking for Nessie. That's right. So you have done so many different things in your life. You are just a colorful person. I love you.
No kids.
Oh, no kids. So
No kids.
you, instead
That's
of
the
having
key.
kids doing the caving, you did the caving. Tell us about this photo.
That was on a cave trip to a cave called Cave of the Bell in the high Guadalupe Mountains of Texas, New Mexico. And that particular trip, we were doing a mineralogical survey and impact study to determine if the cave needed restoration, if there had been vandalism, if it needed to be closed, or if it could be open for permits for recreational caving. And fortunately, we came away with minimal work that needed to be done. And the cave can, well, I don't know, things have changed in the Glides, but it could be visited with permit and a designated trip leader from the Forest Service. So that's what's going on in that picture.
Wrestling with elephants, hanging out with jaguars, splunking into caves. What have you not done?
Press. Don't ask me to sing.
So you have graciously gifted some items today for the Arcane Treasures giveaway. Why don't you tell us about these things?
Okay, I gotta put my glasses on so I can see. Okay, what we have there is a brass incense burner with a coaster and a grill or a grate, and then the roll of charcoal. The black jar is a ritual bath blend. So get your nice hot water bath port and then put some of that in there before ritual. And it's herbal and slightly aromatic. And then you've got 6 different resins that have all been hand ground. There's a golden copal from Yucatan. There's some benzoin Sumatra, which, by the way, if you've got allergies, the benzoin is excellent for respiratory distress, even asthma. There's some Peruvian copal blanco. So you've got 2 different kinds of copal there, and they do smell different. The golden starts out as the blanco or the negro or black copal, and it's bleached in the sun, kind of like they dry out tea leaves down there. There's some Arabian myrrh, and it's ground from pure Arabian tears, which is some of the finest Arabian myrrh or finest myrrh you can get anywhere in the world today. Then let's see, there's an Archangel blend that I make, and there's an altar blend that I make. So,
Amazing.
and yeah, you light the charcoal and you put a little resin on there, and this is the case of a little dab goes a long way.
Oh,
So
yes.
start out, if you've never used resins before, start little. And then
Teeny
then you can add a little bit, because if you get too much, you're going to be setting smoke detectors off.
Oh, absolutely. Experience. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Resins go a long way. Even one tear can be too much.
Yes. That's why these are actually ground.
Yes.
So,
yes.
and a lot goes into grinding them. So it's, I'm putting energy and, blessings and prayers into them, incantations, while I'm doing the actual grinding.
So they're charged. They're
They're
charged.
charged.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
the wonderful donation to the giveaway. That's beautiful. So
You're
what are
welcome.
you working on now?
Well, I've got two things going on. A book that I've been, writing for ages. But it's finally going through some of its final edits with Amber K and Azrael K. Many people know Amber K through COG. And she's been around since Temple of the Pagan way back in Chicago. So Amber's a longtime witch and is a award-winning author in her own right. And Azrael K is her partner and is also an award-winning author. And they are doing the editing for me on my book, and then starting to film next summer with a prominent Hollywood director. There is going to be a documentary coming out about craft today. So we're going to be talking about the connections and the threads that exist between various traditions, eclectic solitaires. So it's going to be a very interesting movie when it comes out.
Wow.
And I'm very, very, very excited that I was asked to participate.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we look forward to that and your book.
Thank you.
So who's this Xena warrior princess?
This was decades before Cena. I spent a lot of time doing festivals back in the 80s. And it was, this costume was actually the year before Conan the Barbarian came out. And people accused me of copying Sandra Bergman's costumes from Conan. And I'm going, how could I copy it when I did it a year before the movie was released?
Maybe they copied you, huh?
That's me. That's me.
Very
in my
cool.
jousting. That's me in my jousting days.
Very cool. You've done it all. So if people want to learn more about you or get in contact with you, where should we send them?
Facebook, Kalisha Kfp.
Okay. And I think I have that. Here we go. Boom. Yes. So it's facebook.com/Kalisha.KFP. There is a dot before the KFP.
Okay.
So there you go. And you can contact Kalisha directly. Okay, well, let's get Draken back on here. How's the comments and questions coming?
We've actually got quite a bit going on here, but first of all, I need to say it. So Russell Hamill says, I am an Alexandrian high priest and in your Alexandrian book club on Facebook and other groups that you're also in. And he just wants to thank you for being an important resource for the community. So I wanted to say that.
Oh, cool. Well, it's I'm going to do a plug here. On Facebook, there is Alexandrian Witchcraft, the Magic of Alex and Maxine Sanders. And then there is the Alexandrian Witchcraft, Magic of Alex and Maxine Sanders book club and discussion group. And I am the lead admin on that page. Maxine had it specifically created for me to run because I'm a notorious bookworm. So it's, yeah, check it out.
Well, I'm sure that
Just be sure you, if you ask to join, please answer the questions.
always. Yeah. And we do have a couple of other questions here. Natasha asks, does manifesting what you want work? And I don't know that that's.
Of course it does.
Storytelling, but yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's part of manifesting. Several things are going to happen. But the first thing that happens is you have to think it, you have to imagine it. And then you put those thought forms with your true will. Now, a lot of people go, will, and they think, I can do whatever I want. No, it doesn't work that way. It's true will is very focused. True will, there's a difference between the I want and I need to lose weight. Change the wording. I lost weight. You lost the weight through will. You lost it by being determined that you were going to do what was necessary. And this is how we bring things into manifestation. You can't just light a candle, chant a spell, and walk away and expect the gods to make it happen. It's a two-way street. They're going to expect you to do your part as well. This is why working energy and understanding energy becomes so important with our magic, because we put that energy into those thoughts combined with will. We send it out, and guess what? The universe is going to take over. I compare it to a lot of people like to do prosperity spells or money spells, because all of a sudden, they're tight making the rent, or they're tight meeting the mortgage or the car payment, and they need some money. So they do that spell for the exact amount of money that they need. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely nothing in the world wrong with that. However, you think about the cornucopia you could tap into with the power of the universe behind you. The gifts can be unlimited. The gifts can far surpass what you're asking for if you're willing to do the work that's necessary. The gods will reward you, or they'll slap you upside the head.
Everything you just said, I'm like, yes. Because that is exactly the truth. You raise the energy, but it takes intent. You have to have that mindset. First of all, it's all about the mindset. And you don't visualize yourself as it coming to you, because if you're visualizing it coming to you, it's always going to be coming to you. The check is always going to be in the mail, and it's never going to arrive.
Yeah.
You have to imagine or visualize it.
It's in your hands. You got it.
You're already bought the stuff that you want to buy or pay off with it. It's already
and
a
pay
done
attention
deal.
to those palm itches.
Yeah.
It was like my palm was itching like you would not believe. Day before yesterday, I go out to the mail and I've got a letter from my insurance company. And I opened it up, and lo and behold, it was a rather large check. Forget this, an overpayment.
Ka-ching. Thank you.
Ka-ching.
I'll take it back.
Yep.
Absolutely. So you couple that with your desire and your will and your energy, and then that goes out into the universe, and the universe responds. The gods respond by setting up circumstance for you. They make it easier for you. But you still got to get up off your ass and go do the thing for you to discover the circumstance that has been set up for you.
Exactly.
And it just falls in your lap then. Yes, that's how magic works.
Exactly.
So, and I do have a couple quicker questions, I think. Sandra asks, do you have all of these stories memorized in your head, or are you constantly learning new ones?
I've got a bunch that I learned orally. I've never written them down. And I give them orally. And then I've got others that have been written down.
Okay.
But my favorites are very much true Bardic tradition and are from different countries and different cultures. And they are very much mouth to ear.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite story?
Unessa, the story of Unessa.
Love it.
And that punch. First time I ever heard that story was from Janet Farah. And she tells it a little different. We put our spins on it. And it was, I was crying my eyes out. Oh my God. I was just sitting there and bawling up tears, and people kept passing me tissues. And I'm a rather sentimental type, you know. And she got to that punchline. And today, people still go in search of the Loch Ness Monster. All of a sudden, the tears vanished and the laughter, and I was rolling on the floor.
I was telling the story. I was like a 4-year-old sitting at your knee. I was just so wonderful. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a favorite. And then my second one is Why Coyote Howls at the Moon. And that one's based on Native American storytelling.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
I think that's, let me check real quick back here. I don't know if you saw this one. They'll hit you upside the head with a velvet coated 2x4 if you don't listen.
That's a very vivid image. I like it.
Very true. Very true.
All right. Cool. All right. We're going to go ahead and bring Aerik back on to join us for a bit of fun. Hey, Aerik.
Hi.
Still awake?
I'm still here and awake. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's time to have a little bit of fun with my guests before I let them go. We're going to now have the rapid fire question segment. So this is just a bit of fun. So get your pencils and papers ready. Yes, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. You get 20 seconds to jot an idea down for each question. And then when the clock runs out, we will go over your answers one at a time. Are you ready?
Ready.
Get set. Go. What's the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you on a date? What's the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you on a date? Second question. What's the most ridiculous fashion trend that you've actually embraced? What's the most ridiculous fashion trend that you've actually embraced? And last question, what's your guilty pleasure? What's your guilty pleasure? In 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Okay. Aerik, what's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you on a date?
I don't know the answer to this, but my wife is texting me and she's reminding me of a time very early on when we were dating and we were sitting at the table together eating some dumplings, and I just knocked the whole thing off the table and spilled the dumpling sauce everywhere, and I was mortified.
Wasted dumplings is not a good thing.
No.
I love the fact that she's texting you.
Yeah, it's very helpful. Thank you, my love.
Kalisha, what's the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you on a date? She's gritting her teeth. I'm afraid of this answer.
I locked the keys in the car.
You locked the keys in the car. I've had that happen myself. Yeah. So a little more detail.
I was first year freshman college, and it was a grad student had asked me out to go to dinner. He'd taken me to a very nice restaurant there in Amarillo, and it was we were going to go bar hopping afterwards, and I left my handbag in the car. So he gave me the keys, and while he went to take care of the cover fee to get us in, and I went out to the car, unlocked the door, got my bag because I had to have my ID, and I evidently dropped the keys when I picked up my handbag, and then I locked everything back and closed it. And it was, and of course, we're not 3 sheets to the wind going back to the car, but we were a little wobbly. And this was before the days of cell phones. The bar was closed. There was no outside payphone. So we literally had to sit there until the gas station on the corner opened up so we could get to their payphone to call a locksmith to break into the car to get the keys.
Goodness.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's one way to make your date extended.
He never asked me out again.
Okay, Aerik, what's the most ridiculous fashion trend that you've ever embraced?
I don't know, probably like camo pants, camo shorts.
Camo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Kalisha, same question. What's the most ridiculous fashion trend you've ever embraced?
Disco.
Disco. So what kind of hairstyle did you have?
I actually had a fro at one time.
There you go. There it is. There it is.
Very 70s.
All right.
Yeah,
Question.
Barbara Streisand came out with a fro right around the time of Stars Born with Chris Christopherson. And it
That's
was
right.
like, oh, well, if Streisand can do it, I can do it.
I was on the farm. We missed the disco.
Be glad.
Question 3, Aerik, what's your guilty pleasure?
You know, you guys were talking earlier, and it made me almost really regret my wardrobe choice today. Because if you watch like 90% of the videos on my YouTube channel, I am always wearing a Star Trek themed t-shirt. So Star Trek is my guilty pleasure.
I'm with you, bro.
Totally.
Have you been watching Discovery?
Discovery was good, but Strange New Worlds, even better.
I agree. Discovery was a different odd duck, but it has its own right and its own story. And we are like right there at the end, like end of season 5 now. And I think we have the last final episode to watch, episode 10 of season 5, and we've finished it. But it's amazing how Star Trek has brought people together that you would never think you had things in common. And Strange New Worlds is an amazing spinoff. If you don't know, it's about Captain Pike. Okay, I'm going to stop geeking out. Live long and prosper. All right, going on. Kalisha, what's your guilty pleasure?
This is really bad.
Okay.
That's why it's a guilty pleasure.
Cuban cigar, a good chocolate bar like Godiva or Ghirardelli, and single malt scotch like a Macallan 18.
All at the same time.
All at the same time.
Wow. You do it right.
You were living.
That's amazing.
Don't do the cigars anymore, but I still do the chocolate and scotch.
Well, I would skip the cigar myself, but I would definitely do the chocolate and the scotch with you. Absolutely.
That I picked that up in a cave restoration and survey project, and because the survey was in a stream passage and involved cave diving, and if we made it back to the guest house alive, we celebrated.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. Thank you so much for your participation. But now, audience, are you listening? It's your turn. Now that we've heard from both of our guests, which one do you think won a chariot race while completely nude? Type 1 in the chat if you think it was Aerik, and type 2 in the chat if you think it was Kalisha. All right. You've got 1 minute to vote. 1 minute. Think about it. Aerik for nude chariot race winner, or Kalisha for nude chariot race winner? Okay, what are they saying in the chat?
So far, we've got Kalisha.
Everybody thinks it's Kalisha?
Well, we've got a couple that think it might be Aerik, but mostly we think it's Kalisha.
Okay. Without further ado, will the real naked chariot racer please raise their hand? Kalisha! Okay, tell us the story.
Okay. He put a picture up earlier of me in a red off the shoulder with a chainmail corset. That was at the Texas Greco-Roman Festival. And we were having a 3-day weekend. It was a Memorial Day weekend. So the festival was open Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I was doing 3 chariot races a day.
That one.
Yes. Well, I had a white flowing toga that opened down the front that my mom made me. And I would put that on and hold it together with that corset. And it was a little less than a T-strap, but a little bit more than a G-string that I would wear, because this is June in East Texas. It's hot, it's humid, it's steamy. So, the less clothes, the better underneath, because of the fabrics so many of the costumes were made from. And I'm coming around, and it's the first race on Saturday, and that corset came undone. And lo and behold, boobs are flying as I'm crossing the finish line as winner. Sunday, second race of the day. I've got that tunic pinned with baby diaper pins. It is not coming undone. Well, wind comes up just as I'm approaching the finish line, winning the race again. And the wind took that tunic and raised it straight up. And there was my bare buttons. So we've now flashed the crowd with boobs and butt. Third race on Monday. I've got the corset on, but I messed up with one of the baby diaper pins and it broke. And I figure, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. No problem. No, it didn't quite happen that way. I leaned forward, the bucket broke, the buckles on that corset. The corset opened and everything just kind of went wide open. And the owner of the festival, who was playing Julius Caesar, rightfully dubbed me the goddess Diana, goddess of the twin double moons. Now, to add to embarrassment, my parents were there all 3 days and saw all 3 races. And Channel 8 was filming 8 Country, Texas for TV. So it was, and that last vid was live. Channel 8, Dallas Fort Worth.
But did you win?
Yes.
You won. You shocked everybody else into running off the road. That's what happened.
And this was a G-rated festival. I mean, you know, we build it as family. I mean, even our mermaids, you know, were kind of an I Dream of Jeannie, got to cover the belly button. You know, so we really kept it family friendly. But and it was, we had a lot of fun with that festival. But
That's so
yeah,
funny.
it was. I spent 4 years doing professional chariot racing and jousting.
Wow. That's so funny. All right. It is time for our Arcane Treasures giveaway drawing. This is the moment you've been waiting for. But before we draw, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and ring our bell. It just might help you win. You never know. All right. So here is the secret word. If you would like to roll for all of the prizes, you just have to type hashtag unplugged. We've got it scrolling at the bottom of the screen here. Hashtag unplugged. Okay. And you've got 1 minute to enter that into the comments on YouTube. Just type it into the comments on YouTube. And someone is about to win an album from Aerik with liner notes and artwork, as well as a bottle of his homemade musical condenser that he charged on stage during a concert. You're also going to receive the amazing collection of resin incenses and the incense burner, as well as an organic bath blend homemade from Kalisha. You'll also receive the $25 coupon from paganmusic.com for your shopping joy, and the free ongoing membership to my Coven of Cool Cats community. Again, just type hashtag unplugged into the YouTube chat. And we're drawing in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Okay, here we go. Let me share the screen because we want to show the live drawing. And here we go. Good luck. And the winner is Becca Wallace. Becca Wallace, thank you so much for rolling. You are our winner. And I want to thank you for tuning in. Please email me directly, Becca, at lordalexian@gmail.com to claim your treasures. And I want to express a heartfelt thank you to both my guests and my sponsors today. Thank you so much for joining us and making this show very special. Rockin' and I will be back next month, along with our new guests, including musician Marin. Until then, have a wonderful, fabulous day, and we'll see you next month. Lots of blessings.